South Korea fumes over cultural appropriation and BS the judgment at Beijing 2022. Seoul, South Korea CNN. South Korea may have clinched its first gold medal at Beijing 2022 last week, but the success came amid tensions with China over alleged cultural appropriation and biased judgment during the Winter Olympics. In recent years, relations between the two countries have been tense between politically and culturally, and this year's games have caused further flashpoint. During the opening ceremony, a woman on stage appears to be wearing a traditional Korean hanbok dress, which South Koreans have long been irked about, deeming China to be passing up South Korean culture as its own. On the following day, South Korea's ruling Democratic Party released a statement criticizing China and demanding it stop stealing its culture. South Korean people also expressed their outrage online. I'm mad that they have introduced a person wearing hanbok on the International Olympic stage as a Chinese person. I'm mad that they are introducing Korean culture as Chinese to the world, one wrote on Twitter. The Chinese embassy in Seoul said on Wednesday that China is composed of 56 ethnic groups, and it is not only their wish but also their right to wear ethnic clothes during the games. The Korean ethnic group in China and the north and south of the Korean peninsula are of the same origin and share a common traditional culture, including clothing, the embassy said. The so-called cultural project and the cultural appropriation are completely untenable. A dress worn by a performer second from right sparked outrage in South Korea. It's not the first time there have been a cultural war between the two countries. Last year, there was a row over South Korea's traditional food of kimchi. South Korea's Ministry of Culture, Sport and Tourism issued the guidelines which stipulated that Shinki is to be a new official Chinese name for kimchi. The guidelines implemented with the aim of differentiating Korean kimchi from Chinese fermented vegetables, piao kai, kicked off the wave of heated debate among media and citizens of both countries. Further adding to the recent tension, South Koreans have been angry by what some deem to be unfair officiating during this month's games. On February 7th, two South Korean speed skaters, Hwang Dae-hyun and Lee Jun-seo, received the penalties after finishing first and second in their respective semi-final groups of the 1,000-meter short track event. Hwang was disqualified for making an illegal late pass that caused contact, and Lee for Chang-in lanes, which also caused contact. The penalties allowed the two skaters to qualify for the final, which coincidentally were from China. Chinese skaters Lan Jiwei and Li Wanlong eventually won the gold and silver medal in the final, while Hungary's Xiaolin Liu took the bronze. Xiaolin Liu, the brother of the bronze medalist and the speed skater himself, had finished first but was ruled out for receiving 2 yellow cards after a review. It's a sympathetic decision, CNN sports analyst reacts to Kamila Balieva ruling. Both South Korea and Hungary inquired about the referee's judgment, but the International Skating Union called as ISU said it stands by the video referee final decisions. Korean Sport and Olympic Committee said the Korean delegation will file the petition to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The chairman of the committee, Lee Gi-hun, also had a virtual talk with the ISU president, Yan Dikema, on Wednesday to strongly protest against the biased judgment seen at the short track event, KSOC said in a statement. Head of the South Korean athletic delegation, Yoon Hong-gun, said on Tuesday that the South Korean people have asked the athletes to come back home after the alleged unfair ruling. But he said the athletes will do their best to bring more tears and more joy during the remaining event. Subsequently, South Korea's Hwang did deliver some joy as he navigated his way through the large, chaotic field to win the men's 1,500 meter and secure South Korea's first short track medal at Beijing 2022. I was frustrated when I was knocked out of the 1,000 meter, but I thought I got the penalty because I didn't race to clean it up, Hwang told the official Beijing 2022 media site on Thursday. I don't think there was any influence due to the rivalry between the Koreans and Chinese in the judge's decision. Today, we raced clean. It was part of our strategy. Nonetheless, people from South Korea have been voicing their opinions online about the Monday's 1,000 meter short track semifinals. The hashtags if it's going to be like this and do the Olympics just among yourselves started trending on Twitter in South Korea. Why are we doing this Olympics? It's not bringing the world together at all, a South Korean tweeted. Hwang's Instagram comment sections quickly filled with both supporting and hate messages, including flags of both countries. Hwang Dae-hoon of South Korea compete during the men's 1,500 meter short track speed skating final. South Korean politicians also commented about what had happened on Monday. The ruling Democratic Party's floor leader Yoon Ho-jung said he couldn't sleep due to the anger, while People's Party presidential candidate An Cheol-soo called for China to immediately cancel each dirty judgment, claiming gold medals were stolen. If China invites people from all over the world and undermines the Olympic spirit and pursues its own interest only, the Winter Olympics will end as China's poor local feast for the poor family of the China, not a festival for the people of the world, he wrote on Facebook. The Chinese embassy in Seoul released a statement on Wednesday expressing serious concern over South Korean media and politicians stirring up anti-China sentiment. The judges of each event were selected by the IOC and the international sports federations. No country or government has the right to interfere, read the statement. In response to the Chinese statement, South Korean Foreign Ministry said that the foreign diplomatic missions should be prudent while respecting the host nation's situations and sentiment when publicly commenting on the host nation's news media and politician comment. While Hwang won gold in the 1,500 meter on Wednesday, China's Ren Jiwei got disqualified in the semifinal. The Chinese embassy also released a separate statement congratulating Hwang on winning his country's first gold in Beijing on its social media, saying that they hope that the authorities from China and South Korea will make great achievement in the Beijing Winter Olympics. Huang celebrates with his medal, as well as cultural clashes. Tensions between China and South Korea have also been present in the political sphere. In 2017, the diplomatic relationship between China and South Korea was tested by the North Korea crisis after the deployment of the U.S. Terminal High Altitude Area defense system, which became fully operational in September. Beijing was strongly opposed to that deployment, set in motion by Moon Jae-in's predecessor, impeached President Park Geun-hye. China appears to show its displeasure with a 50% drop in Chinese tourists traveling to South Korea. A South Korean car maker and supermarket chain also experienced a drop in their sales in China in the months after the THAAD announcement. President at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy, Kim Hwan-kwon, told the Yonhap News Agency that China's strengthened patriotic nationalist ideology education has increased pride in their culture and system, which is bound to grow conflict with countries that have a wide range of cultural sharing like South Korea. He added that China is likely to continue such education, which could lead to the unintended cultural conflict with South Korea over a considerable period of time. Kim said that since last year, there has been a trend from China to strengthen friendly cooperation with the neighboring countries, which he said Korea should make good use of to clarify its values to China while avoiding cultural conflict unintended by the two governments. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the establishment of South Korea and China's diplomatic relations. CNN's Beijing Bureau and Ben Church contributed the reporting.